and neatly set up Recasner.
Look, over a half of this last quarter in.
Recasner gets the lane on the drive. 15 feeds Recasner going in on Harper. Scored and a foul. Here at the United Center the other day when we taped part of that program. Recasner on the drive down the lane. Oh, Eldridge, Recasner right there. Recasner, tough shot. Oh, man.
You talk about tough. He's made 2 tough shots.
And aggressive. Recasner with the fadeaway jumper hits.
Gets it out to Recasner. And he'll have it easy.
Recasner now at the off guard.
Terror. Recasner goes inside to follow a tough shot. Nice looking play by Eldridge.
Now Recasner. Eldridge down the lane to the bucket.
Yes.
Charles O'Bannon, Mahorn, a rare outside jumper. The tumble, the rebound, 3 seconds remaining. Recasner sees. It'll count if it goes. Backs it in. Eldridge Recasner from 3-point range.
Tumble. Now Recasner midcourt at the horn. Lets it go. Got it off the square. A triple at the horn.
6 on the shot clock. Recasner drills it. Rickster wide open. Eldridge Recasner with a 2.
Corbin topside to Leitner. Sideline left Recasner. Jumps it up and in from 20.
Welcome back to Sports Fans Only with KJ and Sean Mack. And those were some highlights from my boy, my big cuz, my mentor. I looked up to him when we were young, me and Corey. Watched him shoot thousands of shots on the chain nets. First guy I ever knew to have chain nets. Always seemed a little dangerous to me with the nets, but hey, look what it created. My cousin, Eldridge Recasner, we affectionately call him Nookie. How you doing, boss?
I'm good, man. You didn't have to share the nickname, though.
I let him behind the scenes for a while. I'm sorry about that. Now, Nook, we're going to hop into something that I seen come across your page not too long ago, actually 2 hours ago. And it was, I think it was from you, but it just held a little bit. It held a lot to me. And it said, since the NFL is spending all this money, quotation millions, reaching deals with these players, why don't they ask, why don't y'all ask them to reach a deal with the pharmaceutical companies for a vaccine that could save the elderly? So what are you thinking about that? You think they're putting their money and allocating it in the wrong spots that they should be focusing on the vaccine?
No, I just was making light of the situation that I think is funny. So many people are upset that sports aren't taking place. And I'm an ex-professional athlete. I think I've been playing sports since I came out the crib, whether it was touch football, in the street, in the neighborhood, to basketball in the playground. I miss it as well. But I just think people are losing sight of the fact, that people are dying, and more people are going to die, and more people are going to get this virus. And we're focusing on stuff like, in sports, it means a lot to society, but it's not a life or death situation. And I put it out there more to say, just to try to give a hint at how disappointed I was in our government for not being prepared, because, to say that people are being infected and can't even get a test. I just think that's insane, man, for a country like the United States of America. If this was one of the less fortunate countries, I can understand, but we're the richest nation in the world. And for our people to be struggling, trying to get back home and got to stand in long lines at airports is just ridiculous.
Yeah, my wife just told me it was more than 120 more cases that came out today. And I let her know that it's not more cases. It's just more people are being tested properly in America now. It seemed like we're behind the gun as far as other nations in testing. And I was letting her know it's not just blowing up. These people already have this disease. They're just not being properly tested at the moment.
Well, you know that, and I think everybody knows, whatever field that you're in, if you don't have experience and the crisis hits, you're going to struggle. And that seems to be what's going on with our administration in the White House right now. They just don't seem to have the experience to be able to deal with a situation like this. And as a result, people are getting infected and the elderly are losing their lives. So it's just an unfortunate time, not only in America, but in the world. I'm 52 years old, man. I've never, in my 52 years, seen anything like this, where you shut down schools, people are working from home, restaurants are closed, bars are closed, they're asking people to stay home. The NBA isn't playing, NFL is not going to play Major League Baseball. And you're talking about sports around the world, and cities and countries around the world are shut down. So this is definitely a first.
Yeah, Eldridge.
Unknown is very scary. Go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
Yeah, Eldridge, this is KJ. I just wanted to ask you now, I know the comparison is way off. Right now what's going on is way more serious than what I'm about to talk about. But since you went through it and you were in the NBA during this time frame, when Magic Johnson, when it came out that he had the AIDS virus, and everybody started freaking out. Now, like I said, I know it's totally different, but I know you were there. What was the temperature of the NBA? Were people freaking out like this, just as far as the NBA goes, as far as playing with him, thinking that they might catch something? Is there anything you could shed some light on that?
Oh, for sure. You know, people were freaking out, but it was mainly an NBA issue because Magic played in the NBA. It's not like people in everyday life, you know, were freaking out about it unless it was somebody that was intimately involved with Magic. But I can remember Karl Malone coming out saying that he didn't want to play against Magic. You know, and I think there's a lot of guys that felt that way. They didn't come out and say it publicly because a lot like the coronavirus right now, people just didn't. We didn't know a lot about HIV and AIDS back then. So somebody thought if he just, you know, brushed up against them, they could get it. So it was a little bit of paranoia, I think, with the HIV situation. But definitely, there was a lot of guys in the NBA that didn't want to play against Magic, that didn't want him to play, and it just was a lack of information and, quite frankly, some downright ignorance. A lot like we see right now.
Mm-hmm. You know, just to give everyone a little backstory on Big Cuz, he played high school at Lawless High School. He played ball at Lawless High School. My dad also went there. Keith played ball.
Oh, wow.
He graduated from the University of Washington, played from 86 to 90, 3-time All Pac-12, Pac-12 All Freshman, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Check out these percentages, Kate. 48% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, 81% from the free throw line. Guy should have shot the ball more.
Good Lord.
They should have let him shoot the ball more. He played with the Rockets, Atlanta, Charlotte Hornets, the Clippers, University of Washington Hall of Famer, Pac-12 Hall of Famer, Pac-12 Hall of Honor member. He currently works for the Pac-12 Network. He's an analyst. And this is also one thing I wanted to ask you about. Owner of the ERBA. What is that, Nook?
The Eldridge Recasner Basketball Academy. Yeah, I run a basketball academy. I do camps and clinics for kids. Yeah, been doing that since 2011.
2011. Any good players came out of there? Anyone that we should be looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a kid that just got drafted by the NBA that you guys are all familiar with out there on the East Coast, Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle was one of the first kids that I trained, one of the first kids to participate in my camps, and I'm still shocked that he got drafted in the first round, man. I just can't believe it. But Matisse Thybulle, yeah, the biggest thing
that makes you feel proud.
Oh, for sure. You know, really nice young man. You know, hard worker. The kind of player that you want on your team. Just a first class guy and an exceptional defensive player.
Now I have a question. How, with stats like that and percentages like that, how in the world did you not get drafted?
I got blackballed. And, you know, it didn't have anything to do with my ability. You know, me and my coach didn't get along, and he kind of blackballed me.
Oh, wow.
You know, the way you see guys getting blackballed today. So me not being drafted had nothing to do with lack of ability. I was the second best player in the Pac-12 conference back then behind Gary Payton. Gary Payton was the best player in our league.
Wow. But
I felt like I was the second best player. We had some other guys get drafted. You guys probably remember Judd Bushler that played with the Chicago Bulls. He got drafted. There was a guy named Trevor Wilson from UCLA that got drafted. But I'll share something with Sean that he probably doesn't know. Sean is my younger cousin, but I kind of got introduced to basketball, you know, through your dad, Sean. Your dad used to play all the time out on Richard Lee Playground, man. And when I was a little kid, I would just follow those guys out there. So your dad and Uncle Leroy was the guys that kind of introduced me to basketball at a real young age on Richard Lee Playground in Lower Ninth Water, New Orleans. Yep, you probably didn't even know that. Your dad,
I never even knew that.
Nice jump shot, man. Yeah, he had some
I played with him a little bit when I was young, and he always looked funny. Like when you see the peoples in the 40s and 50s playing ball, they just ran extra fast with their head down, but he had a wicked jump shot.
Yeah, he had a nice jump shot. Like I said, he was a really good athlete, man. I remember him being able to jump a little bit for a small guy. Yep. Yeah,
that's where Corey got it from. Corey was able to grab the rim off of Vert, and he was just 5'6".
Yeah, yep.
That's good. That's great, man. It's so good to talk to you. You know, I don't know if you really realize those nights that we would be waiting for you to finish shooting jump shots, and it'll be daytime. Then the sun starts to go down. He's still shooting shots. The lights come on the pole. He's still shooting shots. I would get the ball maybe at 8:30, and then my mom would come out at 9 o'clock and say, we got to go. And I was like, God, he hogs the ball so much. But those jump shots, Corey used to tell me, look at the way he's shooting, Sean. He's shooting the same way every time. Needless to say, I'm around Corey's 8'10", 10, 9, 10. So I'm like 4, 5. And he's like, look at what he's doing. Every time he's shooting it the same way, Sean. And my dad would be like, yo, y'all waiting to get to the ball. Y'all never get to the ball. Nookie never, he ain't, but then you would go take your shower and we take the ball and make sure we get some shots in. But looking up to you is what got me playing AAU, Corey playing AAU. I played for the 12 and up at 10 years old only because I was big for my height and I had a good skill set. But it all come from watching you and just the love of sports, man. So thank you. I never got a chance to actually thank you, but thank you.
You know what? I never knew that, man. I had no idea you guys were watching me at that age. I just
yeah, those chain nets,
I had
man.
no idea. And I wish I would have said something. I would have definitely shared the ball. I didn't want to get the ball, but I just fell in love with the game, man. And I think that's the difference than when you look at the kids today. Everybody's playing basketball now. Everybody's trying to get a scholarship. Everybody's trying to make it to the NBA. I just fell in love with the game and played for the love of the game. And when they told me I could get a scholarship, I was like, oh, really? Cool. Can I play? And they said, yeah. Like every kid, it was my dream to play in the NBA. But I'd be lying to you if I told you I thought it would really happen. It'd be like asking a kid. A kid saying he wants to be president. You never think anything like that is going to happen, especially coming from a city like New Orleans. At the time when I graduated high school, we didn't have an NBA team. The New Orleans Jazz had moved to Utah. So if you would have told me when I was a kid that I would have made the NBA, even though that was my childhood dream, I remember that statement is typed in my yearbook. I just never thought it would have came true. But it just goes to show it doesn't matter where you're from. It just all depends on how hard you want to work, and if God has blessed you with that particular gift.
Yep. Well, I want to let people know because Keith brought it up about you not being drafted. Just to fill it in, he went to the CBA, and I always pronounce this name wrong. Is it the Sycamore Kings?
Yakima Sun Kings.
Yakima Sun Kings.
Yeah. Yep.
Where you became the 2-time MVP, right?
One-time MVP. Yep.
One-time MVP, and that's what made people notice that they made a mistake and had to get you back in the league, right?
Exactly. That's what put me on the map. Yep.
Yeah, I still have the cutouts from the from over there. I still have the cutouts of the paper. I keep them.
So
yeah, we're actually having a reunion this year. It'll be 25 years this year when we won a championship in 1995. So if everything kind of goes according to plan, hopefully we can have that reunion. It's scheduled for sometime in June. With this coronavirus, you just don't know. But if we can get past that, we plan on getting together and celebrating our 25th anniversary for the CBA championship. Yep.
That's awesome.
So it's not every day that you get a chance to talk to somebody who actually interacted with Michael Jordan. I mean, I know he's just a man and everything, but
oh yeah,
it's every kid's dream to just talk to somebody who has stories about Michael Jordan. My question is along with Sean is, what are some stories that you have about Michael Jordan? Or actually, better yet, what was that game you were talking about, Sean, when you said Jordan whispered something to him?
No, I'm going to see if Nook remember this. Nook, you were playing Jordan. I know you can remember scoring on him. You came out. We were around the TV, me and Corey and my mom's. You hit a 3. Bam. You come down. They did something. I wasn't paying attention to what they were doing. Then you came down, hit another 3. I think you went on maybe a 9-1, maybe 2 run by yourself. So Jordan been down. He told you something. I'm like, I wonder what he's telling him. So the next time I saw you, you knocked on the door that summer. You're like, Sean, where Pop's at? Where my uncle? I'm like, well, hold up, Nook. I'm like, what did Jordan tell you? Do you remember what he told you?
Oh, yeah. I remember the game vividly when you guys did the intro with all the highlights, man. Just hearing all the names, Derek Harper, Rick Mahone. Yeah, I just watched it the other day because, every now and then I got to put some folks in check and pull out their resume on social media. Because when you get older, they forget about you. But yeah, we were playing the Bulls in the Eastern Conference semifinal playoff. This was 1997, and Steve Kerr was guarding me. And I think I scored like 9 points in the fourth quarter, and they called a timeout. And coming out of the timeout, Michael Gordon was guarding me. So I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm here to shut you down." So I just started laughing.
Yeah, that was it. He's like, "That's it, Recasner."
Yeah, I don't think I scored anymore after that. But you asked about playing against Michael, man. I think I love the Jordan gear, and I just got a lot of respect for Mike because I remember my rookie year, I would play against veteran guys. They wouldn't guard me because they didn't know who I was. It was like, well, we don't know who this guy is. We're not gonna pay attention to him. But I could really shoot the ball. But I remember the first time I played against Jordan, man. He was on me like white on rice, like I was Joe Dumars or somebody. And I just asked him, I said, "Well, damn, man, did somebody tell you I said something about you? Why are you playing me so tough?" He said, "Man, I just want you to know why I'm considered the best." And ever since then, I've always had respect for him. I've never seen anybody, more athletic, more competitive, tougher. He just was the greatest of all time, in my opinion. And in my years in the NBA, there wasn't anybody better than him, man. He was the show he put on was better than Hollywood could script in a movie, man. He was that good.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Now, we don't want to keep you too long, so we're going to go through a few rapid fire questions. They don't have